Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Scorpio here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. And I want to talk to you today about the Astrology and Kabbalah of the month of May 2019. And as we do every month, we look at first at the numerology of the month. And of course, May is the fifth month. And 5 is a number of change, but it is change based on responsibility because 4 comes first. 4 is about foundation, and then next is 5. So 5 generally is an energy that where we see a change, where we see a shift. And of course, in the northern hemisphere, it's when we really start to notice things growing in the spring. That whole April showers bring May flowers. Up here in the Northeast, we had a very, very rainy April and promises to be a very verdant May. And who knows, I haven't seen the sun yet, and it's May 1st, so it could be a rainy May as well. All right, so May has a distinctly different energy. Things have been very challenging and very heavy, what seems like forever, especially January, February, March, April. Okay, we've only had 4 months, and they've all been heavy. The year did start with pretty much with an eclipse, a south node eclipse. And we have been sort of moving through this time with Saturn and the south node and Pluto all very close to each other. And that is a very, very challenging period. But it's also a period where the old does die away and the new is born. But we're still in the process, to a certain extent, of releasing. Now, the last month, April, was especially challenging because of the Mercury retrograde being conjunct Neptune, and then of course Mercury retrograde, which is can be a challenging time for a lot of people anyway. Mercury actually went retrograde in the last degree of Pisces, which is a confusing sign on its own. Went all the way back to about, I think it was 15 or 14 degrees of Pisces, and then came all the way back out of Pisces. And while it was there, it was conjunct Neptune, and so that sort of tripled down on the Pisces energy, which is confusing enough. But add the Mercury retrograde and the stationing and all this other stuff, and it's just, and nothing has been clear. And so we come to a clearing, as it were, in the forest perhaps this month. So let's talk about that. Of course, we're in the universal year of the Hanged Man, the 12-3 vibration, and it hasn't the last 4 months been a journey in and a practice in what we can change and changing it, what we can't change and accepting it, and then the wisdom to know the difference. There are certain things that are happening this year that are fated to happen, no matter what we think or what we want. And part of our journey is to accept those things and move through them and learn from them. So if we add the 5 of May and the 12 of the universal year, we come up with a 17-8 vibration. And of course, the 8 vibration as a base vibration is the vibration of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. The vibration of cause and effect. And so we come to see that in the outer world, as well as in our own personal lives and in the inner world. So if you've been working diligently on being a better person or doing, being better at a certain thing, all the work that you've put in you will harvest something from that. The 17-8 vibration is associated with the star card. And I have this particular deck. This is Illuminati deck. And we can see the star card here. And there's this beautiful woman, and she's got 2 ewers, I guess they would be called, or jugs. And she's pouring water into the water, and she's pouring water onto the land. Though this card is associated with the sign of Aquarius. That water that she's pouring is knowledge. It's knowledge. It's understanding. It's unconditional love. And above her, she has these stars, and I believe there's 8 here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 stars for the 8 vibration of the 17-8, right? This is a card of meditation, and so this is going to be a very good month to do that, to meditate, to sort of explore that the other realms through meditation. The Hebrew letter associated with this vibration is Zadi, Tzaddi, I believe, and it looks like this. And you'll have to excuse my. I think it looks like that. Could be wrong, but it means fish hook, and fish are always symbolic of wisdom. And so the fish hook is we sort of put our minds into the cosmic consciousness and we come up with wisdom, the fish. And of course, we're in a 12-3 vibration, which is all year, which is about connecting with cosmic consciousness. So this is a very sort of spiritual time. It's a time for us to have a guiding star. The star card is also about having a guiding star. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what the next step is, if you've finally made it out of the morass of the last 4 months and you're like, what do I do now? This is the month where you explore that for yourself. Okay, so this particular vibration, the 17-8 vibration on the Tree of Life, is located right here. And here we have the Sephiroth Netzach, which is the Sephiroth of Venus. And we have Yesod, which is the Sephiroth of the Moon. And so we have Venus and the Moon here. Both Venus and the Moon are feminine aspects. The path connects these two. Okay, Venus is what we value, what's important to us. The Moon is how we react and respond to life. We react to life, and hopefully we learn to stop reacting and start responding. Okay. And of course, it connects energetically the solar plexus to the sacral chakra. Now, the solar plexus and the sacral chakra are both chakras associated with our lower nature. Okay, solar plexus is your personal will. Your sacral chakra is your creativity. So here's an opportunity to sort of create on the physical plane with this energy. And we have to remember that the majority of the time in May, the sun is in Taurus, which is a very practical sign. It's very practical, it's very grounded. It's about making things. It's about creating something, whether it be planting the seeds so you can eat, whether it's building a house, whether it's making a garden, whatever it is, that is the energy of this time. It's a time of building. It's a time of planting seeds and nurturing them to fruition. And of course, we don't really see that fruition until the summer comes, right? The next pagan holiday, the summer solstice on I think it's the 21st this year. But this is the time of sort of breaking the earth up, bringing the nutrients in, planting the seeds, and then nurturing those seeds. So that's what a lot of May is about. So let's see what's going on in May. And every month there has seemed to be like some crazy, like, oh my God, look what's happening this month. Well, this month we don't really have that. There's plenty of stuff happening, don't get me wrong. And it's not that, it's all going to be butterflies and flowers and butterflies and unicorns, because there will be challenges. But we won't feel like I think we'll feel like we have some sort of, let's say control of our environment, but a grasp on our environment that we haven't had yet this year. Okay. All right. So let's talk about one of the things that's happening is on the 1st, which is today. There is something called a semi-square between Uranus and Neptune. I'm going to briefly talk about this. I talked about this in my May 1st Astro Blurb today, my astrology for May 1st. A semi-square is a 45-degree angle. And it takes the energy, which is yang, which is outwardly moving, and starts to focus it inward. And this is sort of an evolutionary gateway for that energy, for the energy to start coalescing. Now, both Neptune and Uranus are transpersonal planets. And so for the most part, we don't really experience them on a mundane or everyday level, unless, of course, they're touching something in our own chart. That being said, these two planets were conjoined to each other back in 1993. And that was the start of a new cycle. Now, Neptune is the energy of source. Uranus is the energy of individuated consciousness. So it is an expansion of our consciousness. Okay, the transpersonal planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and further out than that, are considered ambassadors of the galaxy, and so they bring new galactic or universal energies to bear upon us on planet Earth. And at this time, we have a semi-square, and a semi-square is about the concentration of energy. It actually corresponds with the 15th degree of Taurus, which incidentally is the degree that May Day is connected to. It doesn't always fall on 15 degrees of Taurus, but May Day is connected. It's a cross-quarter day. It's the 15th degree of Taurus. And so this is an important time of planting. And what's being planted is the expansion of our consciousness that has been going on since 1993. And that conscious expansion actually occurred right around 12 or 13 degrees of Capricorn. There were 3 conjunctions, and I think it was 12 degrees of Capricorn and 13 degrees of Capricorn. So Capricorn is the energy that deals with the structure of our reality. It's like how we structure the world. And what's happened is at that time, those 2 transpersonal planets coming together in Capricorn was the beginning, really, of the end of the structures that are holding us back, right? That we no longer need for our evolution. And so that expansion has created this huge expansion. And that was right around the time when the internet started to really penetrate the average person's home. And we can see how it has expanded our consciousness. But in that expansion of consciousness, a lot of people have gotten pretty freaked out. And that's a lot of what we're experiencing with, making America great again. And I just heard that Spain has this Fox thing or something, make Spain great again. All of that stuff. That is the past. That is moving out. But it doesn't mean, but we still have to put our energy into the present, into the present to co-create the future. And so those things will pop up, but they are popping up to go away, not to build strength. And so what they build strength upon is your fear. And so you have to not be afraid of that stuff. You need to put your energy in the place that you want to have your life, and you want to have your life in light and love and cooperation and a planet that we can all inhabit, then that's where you have to put your energy, because that's the future. Okay, all that other stuff is the past, and all of that other stuff is coming up to be let go of, because we have to see that it doesn't work. And who wants to live like that anyway, right? Who wants to live in hate and fear and loathing? It's so dense, and that's the other thing. The density has to break up and rise, and density is just light that is stuck, and we're unsticking the light. We're becoming enlightened, and part of the process is this card here, finding the guiding star, looking up to spirit, looking up to the higher vibrational energies. Aquarius is associated with the planet Uranus, and Uranus is the process of individuation. It's also our connection to our higher self and our higher minds, our own spiritual self that lies beyond the confines of Saturn. Okay, so, all right, so that's happening. So let's talk about the I don't want to keep you too long. Let's talk about the new moon. And so we have a new moon, of course, in Taurus, the first new moon, and that's occurring on the 4th of May. What's interesting is the 4th of May, May 4th, 2019, vibrates to a 21.3 vibration, which is a Saturn vibration, interestingly enough, with all this talk of Saturn. But we do have, we have a new moon in Taurus. It's at 15 degrees of Taurus. That is the degree, right, of May Day, Beltane May Day. That is the degree of that semi-square. It's about concentrating the energy, moving from yang to yin. So it's moving from the masculine energy to the feminine energy. And what's interesting about this is that it's actually part of a yod formation. It's at the tip of a yod, or the finger of God. And the planets that are making the sextile to this, the planets that create the sextile to the inconjuncts of the sun moon, which you probably don't know what that means unless you're an astrologer. So I'm sorry about that. There are actually two asteroids. One of them is Pallas Athene in Libra. Pallas Athene is about social justice, especially in Libra. And the other one is Ceres in Sagittarius. Ceres is the mother goddess, the goddess of nurturing, in Sagittarius of the earth, the wild places. And it's in conjunct. Both these asteroids are sextile each other, creating opportunity and new ideas and progressive thinking. And it's in conjunct the sun moon, the new moon. And this is asking us that we need, as we plant new seeds for the future, we need to take both social justice and the earth into consideration. And what adjustments do we need to make in the way we live in order to do that, because Taurus is all about how we live, how we feed ourselves, how we have, it's our essential needs. And so we need to review our essential needs through the lens of what do we really need, and what we think we need, how is it harming the planet. So these are issues that come up with this new moon. The other interesting thing about this new moon is Venus, which is the ruler of Taurus, is in Aries right now. And it's actually it's square the nodes, okay? It's square the nodes of the moon. The south node is in Capricorn. We have Pluto there, and we have Saturn there. The south node in Capricorn is about what we have to, the south node is about what we need to release, and Capricorn is the structures, the prisons that we put ourselves in, the judgments that we hold for ourselves and others that need to be let go of. And then the north node is in Cancer, which is about following our feelings. Well, Venus is square all of that, and Venus is what we value and what's important to us. And it's in Aries, which is about something new. Anytime a planet's in Aries, it's about a new cycle. All right? And so the resolution to this conundrum of Venus square the nodes is the south node. And so we need to go to the past and see what we need to release. And if we can do that, then we can flow into the future. A future based on self-nurturance and nurturance of others, and concern for the planet, and concern for families and children, and, children in cages, whatever it is, why are people migrating? Because the places that they live are unlivable. And why are they unlivable? They are unlivable because of the power structures in force now, who are making the rules and creating a living hell in these places. If they had a country that wasn't war-torn or being destroyed through whatever sanctions or whatever it is, they wouldn't be moving. They'd stay where they are. Nobody wants to leave their home if they don't have to. People who leave their home do it out of desperation. And that is not going to work because there's too many people on the planet. And it's just going to create more and more chaos. And so we're going to have to learn how to live with each other better. And this is all part of that. Okay, so we have that. All right, so that's the new moon. And that's pretty powerful. We have Mercury moving into Taurus. We have a little more Taurus energy. Mercury is how we think. And we're going to be thinking much more practically, after the 7th. So what else do I want to talk about? Again, I don't want to keep you too long with this. On the 8th, there's a new cycle. I'm sorry. I don't even know if you can hear me when I'm doing this. I'm trying to talk to you. On the 8th, we have a conjunction between Mercury, the planet of the lower mind, and Uranus, the planet of the higher mind. It's a new cycle, a new beginning, and it's occurring at 4 degrees of Taurus. And this is an opportunity for our higher mind to connect with our lower mind. And then sort of what happens is the higher mind seeds the lower mind. And then as Mercury moves away from Uranus and takes about a year to get back to Uranus, whatever's been seeded by Uranus, that individuating force, actually sort of moves out and moves into the world. And so this is the symbol for that. 4 degrees of Taurus, according to Dane Rudger's mandala, the Sabian symbols an astrological mandala, if you want to know where I get this from. A pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, riches that come from linking the celestial and the earthly. And that's really what we're doing with Mercury and Uranus. Mercury is the earthly, and Uranus is the celestial. And there's a lot of that energy anyway. It's not the only thing that's going on with that kind of energy. So this really is a time for new energy to come in to inspire us, to figure out how we're going to move forward from this point. Okay? All right. So there's that. On May 15th, Venus moves into Taurus. Venus is the ruling planet of Taurus. It's very much a good place for Venus. Venus likes being in Taurus. It's about sort of evaluating what's important to us. What do we really need? And it's a practical energy. At the same time, Mars moves into Cancer. So Mars is our action. And it doesn't particularly like being in Cancer because Cancer is doesn't ever go forward, only goes backwards and sideways, if you know, in Cancer. They don't like confrontation, but it's very much an energy about protection, protecting family, protecting country, can be protectionist, but it can also be extraordinary loving and nurturing. It just depends on where you're at. If you're in fear, you'll be protectionist, but if you're in love, you'll be nurturing. That's just the way it is. Okay, so there's a shift there on May 15th. All right, let's see what else is going on here. Okay, we have a full moon. Of course, 2 weeks after the new moon, we have a full moon in Scorpio. And the sun is at 28 degrees of Taurus, and the moon is at 28 degrees of Scorpio. And this is the, here it is right here on this chart. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, let me just do this, I think. Hopefully it doesn't mess anything up. Okay, good. We have the sun here. Sun is actually conjunct Mercury, and we have the moon here in Scorpio. And it is not conjunct anything particular here. So we have this, and full moons are oppositions, awareness. Scorpio is life. No, Scorpio is death. Taurus is life. Taurus is our essential needs, what we have, and Taurus is what we don't have. It's our desires, okay? It is, and full moons are always awareness. And so we become awareness of what we have and what we don't have, okay? Of life and death, of values and shared values, of our resources and our shared resources. And so this could happen within your own life, or this can happen within the life of a country or the life of the world, right? It just depends on where your focus is, right? Where you're going to see this. And you'll see it in all levels. If you focus on one level, then the other, you see it in all levels. And we know that this is an opportunity to be aware of something. With the moon in Scorpio, there's also an awareness around what needs to be healed, maybe what needs to be let go of. The moon in Scorpio doesn't like to let go of anything, but sometimes you have to let go if you want to move on. You have to let go of whatever the ego feels like it can't do without before you can evolve, because surrender is the way that we evolve through the soul. We evolve through the surrender to the soul. Now we also have, we still have this South Node and North Node. The North Node is actually close to Juno in Cancer. Juno is an asteroid. And Juno is how we relate in Cancer, how we relate emotionally to each other. And then, of course, we have this set up in the South Node with the South Node and Saturn and Pluto. And it's all square, not Venus anymore because Venus has moved on, but it's all square Vesta in Aries. And Vesta is about our devotion. It's about what we focus upon. It's about keeping the home fires burning, okay? And so it's in Aries, and it's a feminine archetype. All the four major asteroids, Pallas, Vesta, Ceres, and Juno, they're all feminine archetypes. And so we have a focus on, and it's in Aries, which is connected to the military. So there's this sense of devotion of the military, and what they're asked to do, and the sacrifices, because Vesta is also about sacrifice, the sacrifices they've had to make, to what end, okay? And we still have the South Node as the resolution node for this. So it's a real look at how we utilize our men and women of the military. And I think of all the candidates running for the Democratic ticket, I think the one who has the strongest message on this is Tulsi Gabbard. So if you have an opportunity to listen to some of the things she says, she makes an awful lot of sense, and it's something that we definitely need to be aware of. What else is interesting is that the 20 degrees of Aries, where Vesta falls, is actually the Chiron of the United States of America. We have Chiron in Aries, about 21 degrees of Aries. And so the wound of America comes out here as well. And so this might have to do with more of the interventionalist stuff that America is famous for, unfortunately. Okay, so that's the full moon. And then on May 21st, the sun moves into Gemini. And by that time, we a lot of the heavier lifting that it takes, if anyone is a gardener out there, they know how much effort it takes at the beginning of the season to get everything looking beautiful by the summer. Things start to relax a little bit with the sun moving into Gemini. On the same day, Mercury moves into Gemini, and on the same day, the sun and Mercury make a conjunction. Now, Mercury is direct, and so this is called a superior conjunction. It almost acts like an opposition in energy compared to the inferior conjunction, which occurs when Mercury is retrograde. So actually what it is we have the sun, the earth, and Mercury on the other side, but it still lines up as a conjunction. And so this is another awareness that we have. And in Gemini, it's the awareness around duality. So we become a little bit more aware of the dual nature of our existence. All right, let's see if there's anything else I want to point out. I'm not sure that there is. Okay, so I think there's other stuff happening. You can watch my dailies. I pretty much cover everything in my dailies that are happening that day. But it's going to be a very interesting month, and I'm kind of excited about it. It's actually quite normal. So I think positive. And part of that is because of this vibration here. The star vibration is a beautiful vibration if we know how to utilize it well. All right, have yourself a great May. I hope you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe, and I will see you again next month to do this. I'll see you tomorrow to do the astrology of the day, and if I can get a few readings in, I will. Have a great day. Have a great month. Take care. Bye.